Now, the story has it that an acting director of operations of MASLOC, Ken Kwekubwediasare, is alleged to have forged 102 non-existent business associations to advance an amount of over 1 million Ghana cedis to 2 financial institutions. The suspect, who is currently on interdiction, is alleged to have acted in connivance with some regional officers of MASLOC to perpetrate the crime. Investigators of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, have since concluded investigations into the matter. The docket on the case has been finalized for onward submission to the Attorney General's Department for advice. The final report on investigations into the issue indicates that 9 people, including Mr. Asari, were interviewed during the investigation into the matter. It said Rokeda Microfinance Limited and Unicorn Happy Investment Limited approached MASLOC for a loan facility for onward lending by their microfinance companies. And we are being joined in studio by anti-corruption activist and executive director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrew Awuni, is one who has interacted with the media severally, and he is going to talk to us about how we can curb corruption in public institutions, or institutions that are supposed to help the very people that they have been set up for. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Martin.
I mean, I'm not sure you're surprised about this MASLOC development, because this is not the first time they've been in the news for issues of corruption. But this one seems to have been different from the previous one, which had an issue of conflict of interest. From where you stand, how can such an act be curbed, if it is possible at all?
Well, that would be a very difficult one to say for now. Like you said, I was not surprised at all. Not surprised about the report. It happened before, and on that occasion, 500 million Ghana cedis was involved. We don't know how that one ended. So you see, if someone else takes over from the previous director, and he knows the previous director did something and nothing happened, so why not him? But Martin, I must say, unfortunately, that it would appear that we are losing the fight against corruption in this country. We are losing it. Corruption has always been around, but in the last few years it has actually assumed alarming proportions, and we have lost respect as a nation. In the diplomatic community, if you interact with members of the diplomatic community, they have very little respect for government appointees. You interact with the business community, especially the foreign businesses, they have very little respect for government officials. In fact, some of them have names that they have given to these officials. They have nicknames that they have given to them. We are in a very bad situation. It would appear that these days, when people are appointed to a public institution, it's like you have been given your own farm, go and make the best out of it. It happened at the National Service Secretariat. You will see that is the same technique that has been used with the MASLOC. Get some ghost companies, list them down, pass monies to them, then at the end of it, you get the total, and you take that total and send it wherever you want to send it to. It's the same thing with the National Service Secretariat. Get ghost service men and women, and contact your regional and district coordinators. They give you the list, you pass the money to them, they return the money to you.
That's even the surprising part of it, that it is not an individual, but it seems to be a group of people who have all agreed to something they clearly know is wrong.
It's because very little is done. We don't see the punishment. We don't see the jailing of people who do these things. There's a lot of impunity in public. What do you call it? Attorney General's Department. We all know what happened there in the early parts of Professor Mills's administration. Nothing happened to them. They are even getting promoted all the time, and it is really getting bad. I feel very
I think it cuts across the political divide. Under MPP, under NDC1, there were stories like that. Under NPP and under NDC2, Professor Mills, there were stories like this. And currently, we still have these things. Is it that we lack the political will to bite, to handle these things, to jail, to sentence people who are found culpable, or there's a problem with our judicial system to properly and effectively ensure that people are dealt with if they are found culpable?
Yeah, as I said earlier on, corruption has always been here with us. The problem really now is that it is assuming alarming proportions. And that is because people are now carrying these things out with impunity. They are seeing it up there, and so they copy it. There are things the CFA cannot put out today, because if we put those things out today about issues of corruption, it will destabilize the nation. There are things we have, information that we have, we cannot put it out, because if we put it out, the nation could be destabilized. We're talking about serious corruption. And so when people... But
at least it should, like you're saying, if you have that information and you think it would help...
You weigh the destabilization that it will cause and whatever benefit you will get from such reports. But I'm saying that it's serious. And that's why when you interact with the diplomatic community, they have very little respect for our appointees. You interact with the business community, they have very little respect for our appointees. And it does not seem to be ending. It is going on. How the reason also could be, you talked about the judiciary, it could be one of the reasons, because these days all you need to do is to take the matter to court. And as soon as you take the matter to court, then it could stay there for the rest of life. Okay, we have how many cases? The Jida cases are still in court. The Wyoming case has been going on for how many years? I'm sure the National Service one is also in court. Now this young man have been interdicted. He will be taken to court. As soon as he goes to court, he gets bail. Case closed. It could run for 10 years and he will be a free man.
It seems to be an issue that I'm sure will be discussed severally, but we're running out of time. I would have to leave it here for now. We just spoke to Andrew Awuni. He is the Executive Director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, a very vociferous anti-corruption campaigner, and he was talking about the MASLOC issue. So we'll keep an eye on it and see how it pans out. TV3 will certainly follow up and give you updates as and when we get them.